Hello, everyone. Good morning from Seattle. It is early as hell. I'm Juicy Jones. You're in my orbiting vaping headquarters, and I welcome you to Vaping Dawn to Dusk. This is a show about getting the hell up in the morning and winding down and vaping and vapors. I have another host, and his name is PolishVapesUK, and he's right here.
Hi guys, PolishVapesUK. It is roughly just gone 4 o'clock in the afternoon here. Hopefully, going to be a very good show today. We were hoping to have a guest on if you've seen the links before, but I think he's having internet problems. But we have got two very good guests coming up. What you vaping on, Juicy?
I am so excited beyond belief because I'm vaping on my brand new Hot Sig DNA 200 box. Wah, at 200 watts. Whoa. Oh my God, that's good. Ah. And I have a bunch of other stuff too, which I'll show you. I have everything I always have. This is the only new thing. I'm excited. I bought a support this week because I got tired of my clones breaking and grub screws fucking up, and I got a good recommendation from every single person who's bought one. So I bought this, and the DNA 200 drives it beautifully. And I want to shout out right now. I normally don't do this, but I have to shout out to DJ at Future Vapor because I love him, and he built me a double fused Clapton coil for this thing because I told him that I just got it. I'm sorry the focus isn't good, guys. It doesn't matter. You can see it on Instagram. He built me a double fused Clapton for this. I'm not going to have to change for months, and that's just the greatest thing ever. Thanks, DJ, and go to Future Vapor. What about you? What do you got? I know you have something new too.
I do indeed. Haha, very
What
jealous
is that?
yesterday. Juicy was showing me his DNA 200 hot sig, and I actually this morning got in my VT Box 200 from VapeSig, and so far very enjoying it. It is heavy, but this DNA chip is amazing.
How many? We had a really fun discussion about our DNA 200s all coming in like right before the show and being able to have them, and how like we didn't know if yours would get here in time, and so that was really fun. And one of these days, for you viewers, I want you to know that we're going to do it. We're going to do a show just about DNA 200s, and a show about just about coils, and a show just about chips and regulated mods and stuff. And so we're going to do some more specific stuff too, because this is complicated by anybody's standards, and a little bit more complicated than the DNA 40 was. It's nothing that you're not going to understand, but some of this stuff has to be explained. Whereas you pick up an iStick and nothing really has to be explained too much. A little bit. Um, anyway, what else is on our list of stuff to say before we go here? We're going to announce the giveaway winner for last week's, the final two bottles of Adore Liquid E-Juice. And thank you again, Dawn Michelle, for donating that juice for the show for an extra giveaway. And you have already won. We know your name, and we're going to tell you that towards the end of the show.
I don't
Um,
actually think he's not in the chat at the moment. He's probably at work.
he'll get a cool email. Um, Also, we want to say that, and Luke is going to flash to a card here in a second. We want to say also that I hope this is the right corner, but our friend Andrew, Heavy Metal Vapor, is opening up Southside Vaporium this weekend over in Mobile, Alabama, and those motherfuckers are awesome. And so this right here, go there. Uh, Luke, if you don't mind, flash the card with the specifics.
Yep, there we go.
I'm going to click on you so that everyone sees you and you're featured. So
He's
the
having a
address is not on there.
no.
No
He is,
problem.
he is going to be doing a cloud comp as well, which begins at 8 p.m. tonight. And obviously, as you can see, first place is actually going to be a DNA 200 from Militia Mods. Second place is the USA made Mods Infected Zombie Kit. And third place is going to be a full line of Grim Cult or Truth Serum, which is really, really good prizes. And it's got the rules, and he's also doing a raffle as well. There's the address there, located at 7272 Theodore. Yeah.
Theodore Dawes Rd. That's it. In fact, I'm just switching out to look. It is Southside Vaporium, 7272 Theodore Dawes Road, Theodore Alabama 36582. Go there, contests all day. Andrew says he's staying open until everybody gives up or someone calls the
Yeah.
police. So that is awesome.
Pretty much. And
And
obviously, if you don't know Andrew, Andrew is obviously heavy metal vapor.
forgive me, that's right. And you're gonna find Mark Vape and Fagan there. You're gonna find ST Vapes there. You're gonna find Adore from eLiquid there. You're gonna find Kennard from Vaporwood Vapes there. I'm
Yeah.
forgetting people. I apologize, but there's a bunch of Phenom. Is he going? I forgot.
Yep. Phenom's there. Dirty Devo.
Dirty DeVoe is there. Just
Um,
a ton of great
yeah.
people are down there having fun. And we wish we could be there, but we two live so the fuck far away that there's no way we could even drive. It would take me a whole day, 26 hours just to drive there. Anyway, good luck to you guys. We love you guys, and go visit them.
Yeah. And I would just give a shout out for last week's episode. Thank you again for Nikki coming onto the show for our first show. Really glad she came on and helped us out with that first show. And obviously
Me too.
your guy from Future Vapors.
And Zach from Future Vapor, future-vapor.com. He's a really nice guy. Thanks, guys. Okay, I don't mean to be listy, but that's all we got to talk about for business, right? Is that
Yep.
business? That's killer. So you get your DNA tuner with these this week. Let's bring guests on.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point, is to hear these guys' stories and talk about them. No one gives a shit about the same old stuff from us, except we have DNA 200s.
Yeah. It's gonna get vapey in here.
I drowned on a marshmallow. Okay, this is great. We have two guests here. We're going to ask them a lot of questions. The first guest is one of my oldest friends. His name is Mike. Keanureefer is his alias. And this guy, we met years and years ago on WoW playing online games, smoking cigarettes. And he quit smoking and is vaping, and I did too, and not at the same time, but we have some shared story, and I cannot wait for you to hear his story too, because he just got up one day and was like, not going to smoke. So I'm going to bring him in. He's going to unmute himself. Mike.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you down there?
Pretty good. Tired.
What are you vaping on, Mike? We obligatory have to ask you what you're vaping on, just to start out with.
Just a Kangaroo K-Box, and I mix my own liquids. Not quite as scientific as Juicy here, but definitely way more cost effective. So I
Fuck yeah.
just kind of grab whatever flavor I can find and toss as much as nicotine I want in it, and I'm good.
That's awesome.
What coils are you using in that tank?
Right now, I just have the half ohm standard one that comes with it because it hasn't died on me yet. And so when it does, I'll rebuild one and make my own. But I'm gonna use this thing till it hits the ground.
You've had that thing for a whole month. I know, right?
Same coil for a month. Smoke
pretty
on
soon
like
you
a
probably-
pacifier, basically.
Haha. It's funny because, so tell the story about how you about you actually made the transition from smoking into vaping too, because you did that just a little bit before I did. I was using the lozenges, and you did it a different way.
Well, I didn't do the lozenges because or the gum or whatever, because it always made like
None of
the
that
back
stuff.
of my throat feel like shit. So I ended up, it was actually my brother who initially got me a little pen, and I used
Brotherly
that.
love.
Yeah, because his wife was trying to get him off of smoking, and my wife was too, but I ended up kind of just rebelling. And it's primarily because I grew up, as you can imagine, in an Asian family, and so, you know, everyone smoked around me basically, so it's
Sure.
kind of something that came naturally. But my brother got me into a pen, and for a little bit there, I used it for a couple months, and then basically when I ran out of juice, I said, well, screw it, going back to cigarettes, and I'd buy a pack, and I'd just be back on it. After
So you
that,
weren't satisfied by the juice you were getting or whatever. It like wasn't
No.
quite. Mhm.
No. And, you know, the pens were okay, but kind of like your guest last week when he was saying that it just kind of wasn't enough and it didn't satisfy you.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. And then I forget, he bought me another one by Joytech, but I forget what it was. And it was a little bit beefier.
It was an
but
Ego C, I think. I think you told
it was,
me.
yeah, it was like a little square box. I forget what it was. It was a square mod. But
Yeah.
the unit or the part where you charge it, the port actually broke, and so
Yeah.
I went back to a pen and was kind of disappointed. And we tried all sorts of various, yeah, that guy. And we tried all sorts of various tanks and everything on it, and it was becoming such a headache to deal with the pens that I ended up about a month ago. Just we're walking in the mall. I was on vacation. Went back home where I'm from Hawaii. Uh, and I ended up just stopping at this little kiosk, and I said, "Dude, you got to give me the best one you got." And again, he gave me a Kanger
Good.
K-Box. So, and since
I'm
then, I've
glad.
been completely satisfied. I mean, this thing rocks and rolls. Have literally no complaints with it.
You've got
Just
the Sub-Tank Mini kit, right? Like the Subox, the
yeah,
Sub-Tank Mini.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, that's a good transition fucking thing. I'm glad. So you're satisfied now.
Pretty satisfied. I mean, I'll have an occasional smoke here or there, like when I'm with my dad. Um, but that's more of like a just because he smokes cigarettes too, um, spending time with him kind of thing. But in all honesty, though, I mean, he will bounce back and forth between cigarettes and vaping, as much as the next guy. Like
Really?
he'll be with us and he'll take hits off of our K box and whatnot. So it's I think it's a good thing. I mean,
Gotta
the
get
more
him a
we can use
Nautilus
it,
Mini or something.
yeah. Because he was doing pens and everything, and being that he's almost 60, he's a bit overwhelmed by the whole thing. So we kind of try to walk him through as much as we can. But I think the more that you can use a vape machine of whatnot or mod and less cigarettes is good.
God, yeah, absolutely agreed. I mean, and yeah, every time he hits that vape thing, it's
It's one
better.
less cigarette. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
he didn't take a day off his life when he
Yeah,
did that.
exactly,
Like, it's
exactly.
okay. That's
But
awesome.
yeah, I've been doing it for, I don't know, how long would you say? About two
It's been
years?
more than that, dude.
More
It's
than that?
been, yeah, because you were vaping while I was using the lozenges, and I was sitting here yesterday with Luke and with a friend of mine I met last night at the vape store, trying to remember when the last time I had a cigarette was, and it was the most pleasant feeling in the world. I don't remember. It's been at
Right,
least 3 years
right, right.
since I've
I
had a
think the
cigarette,
best
so it
thing,
must be the same for you.
I think the best thing is like your clothes don't smell like smoke anymore.
Yeah.
Um, People give you, well, I mean, at least here in California, people give you a little bit less of an eye as you're smoking your, my Kanger here.
Are they nice
Um,
to you there, really? They're like, some people are weird.
so yeah, they're weird, but when you're smoking a cigarette, they scoff at you.
Yeah.
Like
You're
it's
nasty.
pretty, yeah, it's pretty
Nasty.
demoralizing after time. But I think overall, it's a good transition if you can get over the hurdle because I truly believe that there is a taste difference or a feeling
It's not
difference
the
there.
same. You're right.
It's not the same.
So you've
And
noticed that too.
yeah, and as long as you accept that it's not going to be the same, but you're going to get the same end feeling from it of, that if you are using nicotine in your liquids, that you're going to get, the craving is going to go away.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that was the biggest thing. And on top of that whole psychological oral satisfaction piece of it, you'll get that too. But you
Yeah.
just got to understand that it's going to be a different feeling, and that's pretty much it.
How
Now you're
many
a, oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
how many years did you smoke for, Mike?
I started smoking heavily when I was 18, but I mean, it was kind of off and on. We can
Nice.
say that growing up in Hawaii, you tend to smoke other things.
Yeah. And another thing I was going to ask is obviously we spoke before the show started. If you've been vaping about 2 years now,
Hmm.
and you said your all-day vape is your Sunbox.
Yep.
How come you haven't wanted to go into like RDAs or anything like that?
Um, Probably just because it works. Like, I mean, not that doing your own RDAs wouldn't work, but for me, it's like, well, why am I gonna go make it harder on myself? And yes, the experience might be a little bit better, but being from my perspective, where it was kind of not necessarily a battle, but it was more of like what was the easiest thing I can get my hands on, whether it was a pack of cigarettes or if at the time my pen was working or I had juice or whatnot. But once you kind of get in the routine of like having juice, when to charge it, and all that, you end up getting into the groove. And
It's kind
since
of a
I'm in that
personal
groove,
groove, right?
yeah. And
Like
since I'm
it's
in that
you've
groove, I'm like,
customized it.
why would I change it? You know, like
Yeah.
I'm set, I'm satisfied, and I think the moment that I'm not satisfied, I'll end up probably starting to build my own, maybe talking to Juicy on what I should do and whatnot. But I think right now, pretty content with everything.
I call that the maintenance phase of
Yeah.
vaping, where you can just use the same thing for a year, 2 years, 3 years. I honestly could take this iTaste SVD and put another tank on it, and I could just use this at 15 watts probably forever. I probably would be fine on nicotine. Um,
Hmm.
so that's how I kind of phrase that, like the part where you're just satisfied. And
Yeah.
this is where you're truly not a smoker anymore, or you're getting to be not a smoker
Right.
anymore. A lot of people smoke a cigarette here and there, and I always tell people, I told people this last week, I've told you this before, we've always talked about this, especially you and me when we were quitting. You're not trying to never smoke again. You're trying to not be a smoker.
Right.
So there will be a time in the future when you smoke one cigarette. And if that doesn't happen, great, but you can never judge yourself and don't hit yourself on it. Don't listen to other people that say, well, I never smoked one, because it's not a competition.
Hmm.
What it is you're not a smoker, and I'm proud of you. And I'm proud of you too for turning me on, opening my eyes, because you remember when you had been vaping a long time and we were doing the hookah. Remember,
Yep.
and I was all like,
Yep.
hookah, hookah, hookah.
Yep.
And that was too much nicotine, and Dawn wanted to get off the nicotine completely, but there I was stuck. Like I wasn't smoking cigarettes, and I wasn't about to go buy any cigarettes,
Right.
because Dawn had made it very clear that, I'm sorry, Aileen, my girlfriend, had made it very clear that that stinks, and I
Yeah.
think it stinks too.
I
So
bet.
I remember we were playing WildStar, and it was before it was yeah, we were playing WildStar. It was like March or April, and I got that note from Massdrop, and I bought that Pro Tank 3, and so that's when I became one of you. And then I started spam emailing you like, how come this? How come that? Why can't I? What do you think? Send me a thing, your thing, because you guys had it. John is a little bit more technical on this, and so he had it kind of dialed in. And I was just like, come on, help me out. What do I get? What do I get? And that's what I did. I finally
Right. You
went out and
started
got
with
that
the
stuff.
pen.
Yeah, yeah. And then I went out after talking to you again. Then I got this, and then I was
Yeah.
happy. I
Right.
was happy.
Yeah,
So I'm really
the pens
glad.
are a good introduction,
Yeah,
and they're simple, they're kind of inconspicuous.
yeah.
So if you're thinking about switching off of cigarettes, or you're just tired of buying cigarettes, or whatever the reason is, a pen's a good step. And it's in a similar shape too, so that habit that you have of grabbing a cylindrical object
Yeah,
will be satisfied.
yeah.
Because
I
it's
think
all
that's great.
habit, right? When it comes down to it, it's all behavioral modification, habit, and
That's
so
actually
people.
that's actually only 50% of it. The other half of it is an actual physiological addiction to
Yes,
nicotine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
but you're
yes.
right. You have to do both. You can't ignore either one.
Either side, right?
Let's bring in our other guest. Let's have this discussion together and hear his story. What do you think, Luke?
Yep. Yep.
We do
Go
that?
for it.
Luke, you introduce him. Even though I
Uh,
would like to as well, but I talk too much.
our other regular vaping guest is Sheeny from the UK.
And I'm going to bring him on. I'm going to click on him. Unmute yourself, my friend. You're
Hey guys,
featured. Hi,
thank you very
Sheeny.
much. How you doing?
So Sheeny, just give everybody a little bit of obviously how long you smoked and what you're vaping on and a little
That's right.
story.
What are you vaping?
Well, what am I vaping on? I've got my XQ2 by Smoke, and I'm vaping on 1 Minute Wonders Milkman. Absolutely loving this stuff. It is so good.
It is
Yeah,
So
really
good.
Milkman's good.
My vaping story. I mean, I smoked for about 14 years, quite a while since I was very young, and I tried to give up once with vaping, but unfortunately it didn't work for me. So I ended up going back to cigarettes because I didn't know about the bigger mod stuff and things like that, and I was stuck on the cigarette look-alike things,
Mm-hmm.
and they were awful, absolutely awful. So I ended up going back to cigarettes, but since the last time I gave up, which was the 20th of December last year, so it's nearly been a year for me.
It's almost been a year.
almost
Yeah,
very
so
good.
you know, it's
Yes.
a great
Very
thing
nice.
for me, and I'm absolutely loving it now. Obviously, it's turned into more of a hobby for me now, not so much an addiction. I'm buying mods left, right, and centre. I mean, I started on the Ego pens and then I went to the old K-Box.
Yeah,
box.
there it is.
The kid.
I actually
Kanger
bought two
changed
of
the
them.
world with that box.
No.
It's a really, really good box. I mean, I had two of them. I had the black one and the white one, and I actually gave them both away to people that were smoking, and got them off of it via the K-Box. It's a great device.
So you were able to talk to people about
Yeah.
it, and they were interested.
Yeah, well, that's the main reason I started YouTube. Obviously, I bought the boxes. I gave them away because I went bigger. I mean, I bought the eLeaf 100 watt, which I absolutely love still, and I gave them away. And I thought, why not do YouTube? Try and help more people.
Good. I agree.
Nope.
It's about helping people.
I love
We're here
it.
to help you. The reason we have this show is that we have featured people and regular people and everyone in between. And the thing is, it is hard to quit smoking. And it is easy to look at vapors who have been through this and think that it's easy for us. But the truth is, every single one of us quit smoking just like you, and it fucking sucked. And we went through hair pulling, crying, calling friends, feeling guilty, all of that stuff. Don't feel that stuff. We're here with you. So good for you, Sheeny V. I like that. So how long? You said you smoked for a long time. How much did you smoke?
It was at least 20 plus a day. I was smoking, so quite a lot. Purely because of stress for work, I think more than anything. I think smoking was my only little release. Didn't get a chance to have like breaks and things, so it was a quick fag break every 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it was quite heavy.
Definitely the same for me. It was between 20 and 30 a day. And obviously where I work at night, I was literally just smoking constantly.
Your work is the worst for that because you're idle a lot and you're,
Boredom.
natural, perfectly natural.
I went through a tough time of 2 years trying to quit smoking with an ego pen, and it just didn't work for me until I got a Bamo and the aero tank.
Ego pens,
Which
2
obviously-
good hits a day.
Next episode 3, I will be a year vape free.
That's right.
Well done, man.
Important announcement directly related to what Sheeny said. Next week, episode 3 is Luke's first anniversary of quitting smoking entirely. And so we're going to do a couple special things, and we got a special guest lined up from the UK that we're trying to get, and we'll do some kind of giveaway, and we're just really excited. I'm just really proud of him, and I think it's awesome.
Do you know what I find really funny now? At work, obviously, because I used to smoke at work, and now I vape. The women absolutely love it when I'm vaping now at work. They love it when I turn up because I make it smell nice.
Oh, is that apple cinnamon, sir? Oh, it's interesting.
One of them
There's
actually follow me around like, oh, that tastes like a cake. Oh, that's really nice.
That's funny. There's two kinds of vaping observer, right? They're the ones who were like, "Holy shit, you're smoking! That's disgusting! Get the fuck away from here!" And then, actually, I should say 3. And the other kind is the, "Oh yeah, I love that smell. Is that apple pie?" Like, "Oh, is that maple syrup?" And the third kind is the curious kind, who we also try to appeal to here, is just to demystify and explain and stuff, and say that. Another thing we should point out is that the reason why it's so fantastic that we all quit smoking and started vaping is that vaping is of course 95% minimum safer than smoking, and it can say in case you don't know, 400,000 people a year in America die of lung cancer. 400,000. And if they all vaped instead of smoked, not one of them would die of lung cancer. Not one.
Yeah,
and this is 1 billion people a year in the world. So we could be doing this.
You know what I find is and this is not even trying to push an agenda or anything, but I go out and have smoke breaks with coworkers and whatnot. And I just smoke my K-Box right next to them. And
vape it.
Yeah, and out of curiosity, they've either tried it and they didn't like it, or they tried it and they were overwhelmed, or they haven't tried it. And so just literally being next to them and still kind of sharing that break moment from work, can influence them in a good way. And by no means am I saying, oh, you have to smoke a pen or whatever it is, but just being next to them sparks their curiosity, and I think that's a good thing.
It's good. That's what Sheeny was saying too, is that he was able to just talk to other smokers about. I'm glad they had open minds. You hear mainly stories about closed minds, but I mean, I love hearing that. I mean, I've talked to people too. I'm that guy that's dorky where when I walk down the street, I'm like, vapor! And people are embarrassed, and they turn around. But I mean, I'm happy. I'm like, me too. I hold up my thing. I honked at a guy the other day on the street yesterday, and I held up my thing. I'm like, vapor! And he was like,
You're weird.
yeah, yeah. And that's okay. But it's like, it's that important to quit smoking. I'm looking for something is the reason I'm so fiddly, so you guys talk.
I just can't wait till like Marlboro or someone comes out with their mod. That'll be the day, man. That'll be the day.
Yeah,
The best thing for me about giving up smoking, I mean,
Yeah.
when I gave up, I sort of tried to encourage my dad to give up. He's been smoking for like 40 years, and he's actually stayed with me. And he's nearly given up for a year as well, and he was a 40-year smoker.
Wow.
And he's managed to keep up for the whole year without any cigarettes purely because of vaping.
I'm impressed. And
Yeah,
the geezers
that's
especially have a hard time because, I didn't mean that in a derogatory way, but I mean older people have a harder time too because it's even more entrenched in them. And they also like the taste of tobacco more than some of us
But
younger
how
guys
cool
do.
is it though to see? Like I went to an air show a couple weekends ago, and sitting next to me was probably a 65, maybe even a 7-year-old woman vaping. And I didn't even say anything, but I nudged my wife. I nudged my wife, and she was like, "Is she vaping?" I was like, "Yeah, that's awesome."
Looks so cool.
Yeah, you know what? I would have hugged her and said, "Hey man, I don't know you,
Good
but
for you.
vaping saves lives.
Yeah.
The
I
funniest
hope
thing
you live another 65."
So
The
what
funniest thing I find in vaping at the moment is when I'm driving down the road, I've been pulled over many a times by people that thought my car was on fire. There's been times where me and my missus driving down the road puffing out the sides of the windows, and someone pulled us over and said, "Is your car on fire?" It's like, no.
Yeah.
There's
The British are so polite. The cops are like, "Can we help you, sir?"
Yeah. I'm
There's
still waiting. Obviously, Sheeny will probably know this. On October 1st, a new law come in that you can now not smoke in your car with anyone under the age of 18.
I'm still vaping though.
Yeah, vaping's not included in that law. So
And it shouldn't be.
No, and I'm still waiting to get pulled over and them try and say, look, you can't be doing that. And I'll be like, oh, God, I've got to go on the government website and prove it to you.
Watch while I educate the police about the current law in this country. Thank you, sir.
In Hawaii, though, they actually put a law in effect that you can't vape in the car either.
That's insanity.
And it's not because of any sort of like physiological effect, but they say that it obstructs your viewing.
Yeah.
Right. Smoking doesn't do that.
You keep the window
exactly.
open a little bit. I always have my window open because obviously I have kids in the car anyway, so I don't have the window closed.
Right.
Frankly, I've vaped and driven too, and that amount of time between you blowing it right in front of your face and you rolling the window down and it being clear is about 3/4 of a second.
Yeah.
And yes, I agree that is technically a chance for an accident to occur, but I don't think that we should be combing our lives for every chance for a third of a second accident to occur and making a law about it. Oh my God, how many laws do we have? How many breaths can you take a minute? You're drinking water too fast. I mean, what the fuck, guys?
But the crazy thing, though, is that why would you blow it in front of your face? If you were worried about just blow it to the side and you're good.
Yeah, you only ever do that accidentally or for fun.
Yeah, when you're trying to show someone. But
or the first time you did it. And you're like,
at
well,
any
I
rate,
don't know.
it comes out just as being responsible, right?
Yeah.
Just as much as, yes, it's vape, but I'm not going to blow it into a little baby's face, right?
Yeah.
Although
in the other, I was going to say that that is what you said is exactly it. That's being responsible. That's a very important point for all of us. Is that these are not more dangerous than cigarettes. Well, yeah, they are because they have batteries. But cigarettes involve fire and all kinds of other shit.
combustion.
But being responsible was an important part of being smoking, and doubly so with these.
Mhm.
You know, Luke doesn't let his kids fucking fondle his mods and stuff, and he doesn't let them like eat his batteries. And he's a parent. He's a parent that parents his kids.
Right.
And, we don't leave that shit around. And so nobody in their right mind should leave this stuff laying around. In our house, all of my raw, do-it-yourself nicotine stuff is all locked up into places where it can't get into from little hands.
Because
And
you'll
that's
get into
all
this issue, right? Of your dog chewing
Yeah.
into your bag.
And Mike and I are animal dork people. And for me, the thing is, the danger is that nicotine is a poison to dogs and pets. Nicotine will kill the fuck out of your pets.
Yep.
So if you're making your own and you're using e-juice, it's important that you
Put it
organize it correctly, that you put it in places they can't get it, and that you think about the fact that little teeth and little tongues love the taste. They love the smell. I actually know for certain that a dog can't like the taste of this stuff because it's only one chemical. You know what I mean? It's like Mike knows all about the photochemistry that makes this stuff happen, you know. And so the dog smells the bakery thing and chews on it, but it doesn't actually taste that good to them because it's stingy, it's nicotine, it's gross. So they don't really just eat it, but you have to get it the hell away from them instantly because if they do eat it, they'll die. Children, they'll die.
Yeah. I'm really happy though that they, especially over here now, they are trying to get even more stricter on smoking because obviously it's going to push people away from cigarettes, and obviously
It should happen.
they'll either quit or at least now they've got the alternative choice to vape if they want, because I don't believe that people should be smoking in the car around children. With the window open or not, you shouldn't be smoking. When I smoked in the room if my son wasn't in the room when he was in bed. In the daytime, I went outside. I wouldn't smoke around him. But now I vape around him. I have no problem with vaping around him.
Your parents smoked around you, right, Mike?
Yeah.
Sheeny, did your parents smoke around you?
Yeah.
My parents smoked around me.
My nan did. My mum and dad didn't smoke, but my nan did. It's just, I think it is just safer to not. We know how bad it is, obviously.
Yeah.
Again, it's all to do with parenting. It's your own choice what you do around your own children, but
Absolutely. And no judgments. People do things for all kinds of reasons.
Yeah.
What my parents chose to do was, my father, I should say, my mother never did this because my mother was a decent person, but my father was an asshole. And so what he did was, I'm not joking, he would sit up in the front seat of the Malibu in 1973 or whatever with his little 2 and 3 and 4-year-old kids in the back, and they would just smoke with the windows rolled up. And we would say, Daddy, can you roll the window down? It's really smoky. We can't breathe. And they would go, no, it's cold. And that's it.
yeah.
That happened dozens and dozens of times. I just smoked with them as an 8-year-old kid. So it's like I probably started smoking a lot earlier.
You know,
You should have asked him for one. Could have then stopped.
the bad thing though is that, like, growing up, my father was in the military, and he had this bomber jacket that he always wore, and it smelled like cigarettes, and that was like the jacket that I always want to wear, and you know, because it smelled the way he smelled, and so that being ingrained in your head at a younger age shows, you know, it has an effect on you. You know,
It's a real thing.
like,
It's a real psychological
whether you
thing,
like it or not, right? And
It did
you know.
it did for me. When I was younger, I used to hide my dad's tobacco purely because I didn't want him to smoke. And then I turned 14, 15 and started smoking myself. I mean, it's ridiculous.
then it's called stealing.
Yeah.
When you're hiding them as a kid, that's one thing. Then you steal them and smoke them. That's not fair.
Yeah.
I can't find my atomizers. I went to the vape shop last night and I set my backpack down somewhere and I woke up so early. You guys know it's early in Seattle, right? But I can't find it.
We were talking about this before the show, but this is what you get in California. I don't know if you can see that. It's pina colada, which I saw the front of that and I was like, oh, pina colada, that sounds good. So I bought it and it was like $3, pretty cheap. But then when I grabbed it this morning, I saw on the back, it has vitamins in it, that's total California for you.
Yeah, and echinacea and shit.
It has echinacea, vitamin B, and vitamin C. And I haven't tried it yet. It could be awesome.
I can tell you by looking at it, it's going to be terrible because it's at least 50-50. Look how thin it is.
Yeah,
so,
it is pretty thin.
In your half-ohm tank, that's going to go, and you're going to eat a lot of it.
I can always I buy the PGVG base, and I can always add a little bit more. Yeah.
Well, that is the only thing you can do to rescue stuff like that.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. I bought it more of as a flavor.
Yeah, let's see.
Just to drip it in there a little bit to get a taste. But
I personally think that I would rather walk to San Diego and hand you a bottle of real juice. But I can't do that right now.
Well, I have some real juice. I mean, it's that gummy candy that you were saying that shatters the plastic.
Oh, yeah. Just the flavor.
Yeah,
that actual flavor.
Yeah.
But you don't have a plastic tank. Your Kanger sub tank's got the glass tank. You're fine.
Right. Right. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
How are you guys on underage people's vaping? I mean,
Uh,
my parents are foster carers, and a lot of the foster kids come in, they're like 13, 14, and they're already smoking. And I try and actually put them onto vaping because purely it's better than smoking.
I mean, if they're already
It's a
smoking,
good question.
then I'd much rather have my child or my foster child or whatever it is do vaping because it's, at least at this point in the research, it's less toxic. But in the grand scheme of things, yeah, it'd be nice. But that's unicorns and ponies. Like
Yeah.
everything's not always nice, and so we'll make the best of what we got.
Yeah, this
And,
came up last week a little bit with Zach,
Yeah.
the store owner, and
Right.
as a store owner, he
required.
yeah, and he's not able to do anything except for service 18-year-old people on it. So his thing is prescribed, and in the UK, I mean, my brother Chris worked at Child Protective Services for years and years, and he had to take kids away from bad parents and all this stuff and put them into foster care. And I know for certain that the hardships and the trouble that foster care kids have, and the kids that come into your home, they're troubled, and so they smoke. To me, if they're already smoking, they need to be vaping instead.
Right.
It's not like I can't encourage any kid to get hooked on nicotine, but if I see a kid that is hooked on nicotine, I want them to be either chewing the gum or using the lozenges or vaping. But the gum and the lozenges are probably better than vaping. But I agree with you that no smoking for children.
Yeah. I
No
think
smoking.
the only main problem is because obviously, especially here in the UK, we know if they're smoking, yes, get them vaping. But the one problem you have, we've all been children trying to tell someone to do something, especially as a child. You're
It's
not
the rebel mentality.
Yeah, you're not going to listen. They're just going to carry on smoking because you're telling them to do something else.
Yeah. Well, and it's true that those kids in foster care are more vulnerable to things like that, and so they're a slightly different case because their families have been torn apart, they've been raped, and they drug abuse and all kinds of other stuff. I mean, foster care kids undergo incredible hardship. So the psychological wear of that, turning to smoking,
Yeah.
that's
It's an easy jump.
yeah. I mean, those kids really they
But
undergo adult stress as children. So I can see some of them smoking.
But it's really mad. Like we had a boy that came and lived with my parents, and he actually knew the stores where he could go and get the cheap tobacco that had been bought aboard. And he was only 12, 13,
Wow.
and he was able to go into a corner store and actually get tobacco underneath the counter that had been brought in from other countries, really dead cheap. But no normal smoker would know that. It was ridiculous.
So he was like wow, that's like a street kid. Not in a bad
Yeah.
way, but I mean, he's like a street smart kid. You're like,
Well, that's what most of them are like, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the one thing that I think needs to be addressed and sorted out in the UK is obviously it is illegal for children or parents now, because I know they've changed the law about parents being able to buy cigarettes now. So it's illegal to be able to go into a shop, buy cigarettes or vaping equipment unless you're 18. But it's not illegal to own them.
Right.
Once you've got them in your hand, no one can do anything about it, which is wrong. If a policeman sees someone smoking, they should get in trouble for it and take it away from them.
Right. Agreed.
Unless you're 18, you shouldn't have them.
I think
Exactly.
one of the things too that might
Interesting.
be preventing some of these kids from switching is a little bit of the cost obstacle or roadblock there, because I mean these batteries and all that, they're not cheap, and buy a pack of smokes and you got 20 in a box, it'll last you, if you're a kid and you're not chain smoking, it'll last you a little bit, but you drop 50 to 150, sometimes even upwards of that on a vape. Yes, the initial buy-in, so to speak, is rough.
I don't even think that is a topic restricted to the younger people. In fact, I think that
It might be,
the-
that might cross many generations.
and the reason is because we're on kind of a crusade to educate people about how like you end up plowing through enough gear
Yeah.
to justify just buying a DNA 40 in a Aspire tank or a Nautilus Mini. I'm not here to debate which tank is the best one. All I'm saying is that you do actually end up spending enough money on this crap trying to quit until you get one good thing that you may as well buy, the iStick 30 watt, the DNA,
Yeah.
the Kanger kit,
Right,
something,
actually.
Nautilus Mini, and then have something that you just charge in for new people and it just works, but it's not this. Because remember last year when I went and got the eye taste, that's when I figured out that batteries are the principal thing about vaping, and that the devices as you move up are all about batteries. The atomizers work on almost anything, just better or worse, but the
Right.
batteries are what give you the power to do it.
Right.
Yeah. Just going back into age restrictions, but it's not vaping related. Does anybody here know what the age allowed to drink is? I know what it is. Do you know what it is? In
England?
the UK?
No. Nope.
Do you know, Sheeny, what
16, I think.
I was going to say 16 or 18.
18's allowed. 18 is the age that you're allowed to buy alcohol. What's the age you're allowed to drink it?
16, isn't it?
Kids are allowed to drink alcohol with their parents if it's bought for them at a restaurant table.
Do you know what age?
I don't know what the age is though.
4.
4. So I was only wrong by a factor of 4. I find that encouraging.
Yeah, there is the bylaw states from the age of 4 you can have a drink with your meal.
Wow.
I knew it was young. I didn't realise it was that young.
Yep.
So you want that to be for vaping too? You want to be able to have your 4-year-old vape?
Well,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I know you're not saying that.
The UK government is that silly. It's yes, okay. Again, it is down to the parent. I wouldn't let my son drink. If I was going to let him have a drink with his meal, he wouldn't go and then have 5 more points afterwards. But again, it shouldn't be 4. It should
But
be
yeah,
8.
like, why would you have a 4-year-old drinking anyway?
Yeah.
I actually think that not 4, but I mean, forget about the lower number. But I actually think that the purpose of that law is to avoid what happens in the United States, where we are taught to binge drink in secret.
Yeah.
And no one touches a drink at any table of any family until you're 18, son. But the truth is, I had 5 Coors with Uncle Billy in the garage a minute ago.
Right.
Instead, Europeans are like, sure, try a drink. Haha, he's unconscious. And then
It might be more of like a desensitization kind of thing, where
you also, it's in the family, and you do it together, and it's open, and you talk about it, and you say, you can't drink that much. Now you know why.
Yeah.
right. So it might be more of an education perspective, because you are right. I mean, think about how many people, when they turn 21 in college, up until that point they were drinking, but then they just, go bonkers and go ape shit in college and, get DUIs, get into accidents, hurt people. It makes a little bit of sense from that perspective, definitely.
Okay, by the way, it's almost time for a vape. Everybody get ready.
Yeah.
We haven't done this in like 20 minutes. I'm dripped. Get your vapes ready. All right, let's do it. I'm at 100 watts, quarter ohm.
So I don't know if you
Amazing.
noticed, but the nice thing about these nicer mods is that you're able to control wattage, right?
Yeah.
And for me, might not necessarily be wattage, but for me it's airflow. Because for me, I'm trying to stay away from smoking, so I try to mimic it as close as possible. So I do like the low
Baby.
smoke. Yeah.
I know what I've been
Use a
sitting here
little-
fiddling around with is I'm trying to find my Kanger Subtank Mini. It's in a bag somewhere across the room or something, so that I can show you that I got mine too, but that's useless, my show and tell. But I'm glad that you have taken the steps of adjusting your airflow and stuff. Sheeny, did you have any, how much trouble did you have coming to your airflow preference? Because every vapor has their own exact airflow preference, from all the way open to baby,
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it was the second time that I obviously got into vaping when I finally gave up. I was watching YouTube videos, so I was watching all you guys showing us big clouds, and that's what really made me get addicted to the vaping side of it. And
look at your apartment right now.
I'm fully open. I am fully open all the time.
Yeah, we've got about 10 minutes left or so, guys. So if you've got any questions for our guests, pop them in the chat and we'll sort that from there.
I just realized that you're the only one who's been looking at the chat. I feel like a complete jerk because I forgot to open the YouTube page and say hello to everybody who's chatting.
I've been in there.
The drinking thing that we were talking about, apparently it's only for cider and wine.
Cider and wine. There you go. Cider has taken over America.
I drink cider. I don't really drink beer anymore.
I do have one quick
So,
question for both of you guys, both of you like just vapor story guys. Like, what are your experiences with your local vapor stores? Like, do you have a favorite local vape store, and what's that been like?
You
Just so
go
you
ahead.
can plug your local guys if you like them.
You can go ahead.
For me, yeah, I mean, there was a store that opened first close to me that was absolutely useless. And I went there, and the woman behind the thing didn't even vape, and she didn't even have a clue what she was going on about. But then one even closer to me is open now, and the guys in there are really, really good. And they've really sort of, they're trying to push the market. They're getting in a lot of clone stuff, but they're really trying to push the market on the bigger mods, which is really good. So yeah, Vape and Juice they're called. They're really, really good guys in Benfleet.
Yeah, for me, it kind of stems back to my brother pushing me to get into vaping, and so he would always order stuff online, and I think he went to my vapor store, and I guess just out of habit, that's where I would order my stuff from. But excited to try Theodore eLiquid, see how that is. And probably just order from her, and if I ever get another mod, I'll probably just maybe go to your my Vaporium and see what's going on.
So you don't like going to retail stores?
I don't mind it because you do have that chance to come across a really good store that knows what they're talking about. And in fact, the kid that was at that little kiosk that I went to get the Kanger he was really, really knowledgeable, and I
was going to
really
say
enjoyed
a
it.
kiosk. If you bought something at a kiosk and had a good experience, I'm just like, that's cool. That guy must have known,
Yeah, I mean, he went all the way into the atomizers and being able to rebuild it. He's showing me all the different wattages. You got the right battery, everything. It was a very pleasant experience, and if I can find another place like that, then I'll be happy.
That's cool. So what I was getting at there for the viewers is that experiences vary, and every vape shop is different. And so sometimes it's true, you have to work to find a place and go in and out and try to find someone you just get along with, really, someone that you can communicate with and that you feel like selling you the truth. I'll tell you one clear sign that you can't trust a vape shop owner or worker is if you ask them a question and they're evasive. Like if they say, I don't know, but this or this, or I don't know, let's find that out. That's one thing. But if you say like, hey, have you got diacetyl reports on your juice? I'm just curious. I just want to know. And they go, oh, and waffle around, then you got to wonder. But if you say that and they go, you know what? Some of these do, some don't. I don't have it all together. I can't guarantee it. Like if they're honest with you, then you can probably trust them.
I think the biggest thing there would be that if you don't know the answer, that they go and try to find the answer.
Yeah.
Because that means they truly are into it and they truly understand what they're selling. Because at the end of the day, these retail and even e-retail or e-tailers, they're in customer service, right? I mean, regardless of what they're selling, and if someone's going to find you the answer and really go out of their way to help you, then you know that they're in it for the long haul and that they're worth a shot.
Yeah. Another question for both of you guys. If you've been to any big vape events and what you thought about them if you've been.
Great question.
I have not been to a vape event of any sort.
I haven't either. I mean, I've seen Vape Capital, I think it is, on YouTube. I think I've been watching their live event they just did in the US. It's an experience. I'd like to go to one.
Yeah, I know obviously for us, Sheeny, we've got Vape Jam, which is in London. They've also got one in Birmingham, and they do Vape Fest as well, which is up in Shrewsbury, which I went to Vape Jam and Vape Fest this year, which are a really good event. The London one is pretty much like an American event, if you like the look of that sort of thing. So maybe if you want to look into it next year, obviously, as long as nothing goes bad for us next year, we'll be okay. But
let me know and I'll come with you. I mean, the only problem I've got with some of it is the whole sex appeal side of things. I mean, even down to like the liquids, you know. I mean, I know the shows do the old women and that all selling it, but I mean, even some of the liquids. I mean, I've just been doing a review on Saver Vapors liquid, and I mean, side of their bottles, you look at everything on their website, it's all sex related, just for vaping.
Sex sells, right?
Yeah,
it does, but I mean, really?
You know, that's interesting you say that, because this has been a common discussion lately, and what you just said to me, what I think you just said is, sex selling for advertising alienates me, right? And that's how I feel too. When I see that stuff, I'm like, you know, I love sex, I love porn, I love all that stuff, but what I don't like is someone trying to think that I'm some stupid 21-year-old who thinks that only boobs are going to sell. Like, you sell me on the product, not the package that has a pretty, boob on it. That doesn't work. We're going to have a whole discussion about this in the industry one day on this show, and I've got some people lined up for that, about why things are so sexist, you know.
Well, and that goes
not
back to
everybody, by the way. I'm not accusing everybody of being sexist. I mean, the industry itself has focused a lot on this. That's all I'm saying.
Right, and that's what you're going back to saying earlier, maybe it was before the show, how it's a very male-dominated, or at least perceived to be a male-dominated.
Oh, it is.
It was very big on, obviously. You don't see that. I don't see that many women vapors. I see more now, but I didn't when I first started. And obviously, there are quite a lot of women reviewers out there now, which there wasn't to start with, because of the sexist comments that they would get.
Right.
Yeah.
Offensive. I mean, be a decent human being, and we're good to go, right?
Yeah.
Even with a couple of the YouTubers, though, even they are like the women YouTubers. There's not many of them, but there's a couple of them that I've seen lately. Even they're trying to use sex appeal for their YouTube channels on the whole thing. It's like really?
Double standard.
Well, let's not spoil the whole thing, because we are going to do a whole show on this. But it's true that this is something that needs to be talked about, and that's one thing. And there's also plenty and tons, and I'm on a search for Instagram users, YouTube users, women who are regular vapors like us, who are not crazy, who are just regular vapors. I'm always looking for that kind of stuff. So we got to get to our giveaway.
Yep.
And I don't mean to interrupt. We only have about 5 minutes left. Luke, would you like to do your thing first?
On my giveaway, yep. Obviously, I've got my 500 giveaway up at the moment for reaching 500 subscribers, which I will be announcing next Saturday. I will be putting a little video up on YouTube in the morning on Saturday, and then obviously I will again announce the winner on the live show. So if you want to go and check that video out, I believe Juicy's going to put the link in the description after the show. And do you want to should we announce the winner for the 2 30ml bottles of Adore eLiquid?
Yeah, absolutely. And you make that announcement too.
Yeah.
Can I just jump in quickly?
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm brand new to like the YouTube thing, so obviously I'm only really low on my subscribers at the moment. But I am going to do like 100 subscriber giveaway myself, and I've actually already started getting the collection ready, and I have got the support RDA as one of them prizes, and I'm going to try and build on it for when I hit that 100 mark.
Very cool.
That right there, I'm going to be giving one of them away.
That's awesome. Now I feel like a jerk. I didn't give anything away at 100.
So you should see in a second pop up on the screen the winner of the replay of episode 1.
Oh, and just to sum up, last week what happened was, if you were watching the replay, we had an extra bottle, 2 bottles of liquid for one user who watched the whole video and posted the correct hashtag. And I'm wearing a hint right here. If you didn't post this hashtag San Francisco, then you weren't entered. I'm sorry. But we had a bunch of entries. Luke, take it away.
And the winner was Ronald Richardson, which I know some of us know from myvaporium.net. So Ron is the winner. I don't think he's in the chat, but you will get a message or an email from Juicy and sort out getting your details and sorting out that juice for you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ron. You'll be able to pick any 2 flavors you want on the site, and then I'll message her, and then she'll send them to you. It'll be great.
So, again, we're near the end now, so I'd just like to say thank you to you 2 guys for coming on.
No problem.
Cheers for having me on.
Sheeny was a late invite because we had problems, but very thankful for you coming on
No
and telling
problem.
us your story.
Anytime.
And don't forget, Sheeny, I hope you're watching the game today. Starts in half hour.
Oh, there's going to be a football fight.
I will be. As soon as this goes off, mate, it's going on.
Yeah, we're both Arsenal fans, so.
Oh, good. It won't be a fight then. Yeah, we want to thank all of you guys for coming to our show. We love it. We love all of you guys. And if you want, I'm going to make sure that you subscribe to Luke, and I'll have his link down there. Watch his video and enter his 500 giveaway. Subscribe to me, like and subscribe, and leave a comment and tell us what we can do to improve this show for you. It's for you. And we really enjoy doing it. And we really enjoy bringing the guests on. And Mike and Sheeny, I've really enjoyed having both you guys on. I'm really glad you decided to do it. Thanks.
Been a pleasure.
And anybody wondering, I will be doing a first look of the VT box. It will be going up on Monday.
Yeah, I'm doing one for this one too.
So
For me.
we have a vape out.
That's it. Let's vape out, everybody. And we're going to hit our target. Thank you.
Bye.
I got to find the button.